Ever wondered why some people get excited by latex while others have an undeniable attraction to feet? Is it just a preference or something deeper? Today, we're uncovering the real differences between kinks and fetishes, and trust me, it's not as uncommon as you think. Welcome to the wisdom of sex. All right, my wise listeners, it's been a great season. 20 episodes came and went by so quickly. For the final episode of the season, I thought we'd end on a kinky note, setting the record straight. What's the difference between a kink and a fetish? Before we get into that, I want to say thank you to all that have stuck by me and helped grow this podcast. It isn't where I want it, but slowly and surely it will get there. I heard somewhere it takes about 2 years to really be successful, so I have a ways to go. I hope you all stay with me. And my other 2 shows, Tales from the Couch and Whispers of the White House, are still going for a few more episodes, so don't forget to listen to them as well. Okay, let's get this final episode of the season going. We've all heard the words thrown around, kink and fetish, but they're not exactly the same thing. A kink is something that falls outside the conventional sexual norms, but still stays within the realm of consensual play. We're talking about BDSM, or role-playing things that spice up the bedroom or wherever you prefer, but don't necessarily consume your every thought. On the other hand, a fetish is a bit more specific. This usually involves a non-sexual object or body part taking center stage in sexual excitement. Shoes, hair, latex, or leather. These things aren't inherently sexual, but they become central to someone's arousal. It's like your brain said, "Hey, this is the star of the show," and boom, instant attraction. So why don't people talk about it? Even though kinks and fetishes are surprisingly common, there's still a lot of stigma attached. Society has this weird hang-up about labeling things as weird or abnormal. And let's be real, no one wants to feel judged for what turns them on. It's why people are often afraid to share their preferences. But here's the thing, you're not alone. You're not the only person who's into latex or enjoys a good roleplay scenario. Spoiler alert, there are entire communities built around these preferences. So why aren't we talking about it more? Well, people don't want to be seen as too out there or freaky. But in reality, exploring your desires in a consensual and safe way is nothing to be ashamed of. Common fetishes aren't so rare. Let's talk about some of the more popular fetishes, shall we? Let's start with the classic, foot fetishes or podophilia. It's super common, way more than you might think. There's a reason why feet pop up all over the internet. People love them, and not just because they're cute in sandals. Some theories suggest it's due to the way our brain's sensory and pleasure centers are wired, specifically the close proximity of the foot and genital sensory regions in the brain. Others point to cultural factors, where feet are seen as taboo or off-limits, making them even more desirable. The psychological aspect, the mix of sensory pleasure, softness, shape, scent. Believe it or not, feet are often associated with submission or dominance, which plays a role in why some people find them irresistible. How does it manifest? Well, some people are into foot massages, kissing, and sucking toes, while others are more into the aesthetic, admiring well-manicured feet in heels or sandals. Others may enjoy the scent or texture of feet, leading to foot worship or trampling preferences. Next up, latex and leather. These materials aren't just for biker jackets or Halloween costumes. They're a turn-on for a lot of people thanks to how they feel and even the way they smell. For some, it's all about that snug second skin vibe. These materials have unique sensory qualities. Latex is tight, smooth, and glossy, while leather is often associated with a rich scent and a sense of authority. The way these materials cling to the body enhances curves and contours, creating a hypersensualized look. The psychological aspect is that latex is often linked with the idea of transformation, restriction, and control, hence why it's a big part of BDSM culture. Leather, on the other hand, has a rugged, dominant aesthetic that connects with power dynamics. Some people love wearing latex or leather for the way it feels and looks, while others prefer seeing a partner dressed in it. There are also elements of sensory play. Some enjoy the tightness of latex suits, while others love the feeling of leather restraints in bondage scenarios. And then there's voyeurism and exhibitionism. Yes, these are exactly what they sound like, either getting aroused by watching others or being watched. Turns out, there's a big market for a peek behind the curtains. And before you ask, no, it's not creepy as long as it's consensual. The thrill of watching someone or voyeurism in an intimate or provocative act, whether in real life or through media, you heard that right. Watching adult films is considered a type of voyeurism. It can create excitement and heighten arousal. The secrecy or taboo aspect can add to the rush. Some people enjoy the feeling of being a silent observer, which can make the experience more enticing. Others experience heightened pleasure when they believe they're seeing something off limits. Again, this can be enjoying erotic films and cam shows or consensual situations where a partner engages in intimate acts while being watched. Exhibitionism, on the other hand, or being seen, whether it's partially clothed, naked, or engaging in sex, can feel empowering, thrilling, or deeply arousing. The idea that someone finds them desirable in real time fuels the experience. Exhibitionism ties into a desire for validation, power, or rebellion against societal norms of modesty. Some people experience a rush from breaking the rules of privacy. This can range from wearing revealing clothing in public to engaging in discreet or full-scale sexual acts while knowing someone is watching. Some people enjoy the risk factor, while others simply love the feeling of being admired. So basically, there's a whole world beyond the standard missionary people. And once you realize that a lot of these preferences are way more common than you thought, you might feel less weird about whatever gets your motor running. All right, so let's say you've realized you have a kink or fetish. Now what? How do you safely explore it without feeling like you're going to get side-eyed, or worse, shut down? The first and most important key is, of course, communication. It can feel awkward to bring up something you're into, especially if it's something your partner hasn't expressed interest in before. But here's the thing. Talk about it in a safe, respectful way. You never know, they might just be into it too. Obviously, don't spring it on them mid-action. That's not cool. Instead, have an honest conversation when you're both relaxed, maybe over wine or dinner, and be clear about why it excites you. Approach it with curiosity instead of pressure. They might say no, and that's okay. What matters is mutual respect and consent. Another thing to remember is that there are safe ways to explore kinks and fetishes. If you're into BDSM, for example, safe words are your best friend. Don't be shy about setting boundaries and always check in with your partner. If you're trying something new, go slow. There's no rush to hit the extreme version of any kink on the first go. So, whether it's foot worship, dressing in latex, or exploring power dynamics or something entirely different, the rule of thumb is communication, consent, and mutual respect. When those are in place, you're free to enjoy what turns you on without the shame or guilt. At the end of the day, kinks and fetishes are just another way to enjoy intimacy, connection, and fun. If we remove the stigma and get real about it, there's no reason to feel embarrassed or judged. So go ahead, have that conversation with your partner, explore what excites you, and most importantly, have fun with it. The bedroom, or wherever you choose, is your playground. Well, our time is up for this episode. I hope you enjoyed the first season of The Wisdom of Sex. I'll be back next season with all new topics. And don't forget, my books are now available on Amazon. The links are in the show notes and on my website. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I'm Dr. Wisdom. Stay curious, stay connected, and stay wise. I'll see you next season.